Hello. Is it on? Are we live? I don't know what I'm doing. Okay. Thank you all for waiting. I have no idea what I'm doing. This is a new thing for me here. Okay, let me click on over here. Ah, yes. Success. That was a little stressful there. I thought I had really messed up and screwed the pooch. I thought I didn't like load something correctly, but I just didn't hit the go live button. Yeah, okay. Now I know. So, all right, let's switch on over here. See all my peeps. We got lots of people up in the house tonight. It's going to be a fun night. Fun night. I can't wait. So, to start out, hope everybody's having a great week. Thank you all for joining us. I want to start to let you know, if you have not subscribed yet, we had a huge problem with some spammers coming in and messing up the whole thing for everybody and saying some really nasty comments. So you have to subscribe for 5 minutes before you can comment. But other than that, you just go right ahead and give us a comment and a question. So it looks like sound is good. Everybody can see me. So anyways, let's get going. So I have a very special guest tonight. So let me preface this with a little bit. When I started this channel a few years ago, I sat on it and things happened and I never got it going. Well, in May, I picked it back up and started doing it. And the first person to really help me out a little bit and push my channel was this guy right here. I mean, he was the first one to mention me in one of his videos. He was very helpful, and he is one that I had already been watching for years because he makes so much content. It is just, I mean, anything that you have a question about, you can go to his page and he's got a video on it. Now, being an Echo dealer, I work, even though I'm an Echo dealer, I work on everything. So, but if you don't go to school for it, there's a lot of times that you don't know how to do this one special trick, or the, instance when I asked him a question, it was a steel, one of the brand new steel trimmers. And I had a problem. I was prying the carburetor off every single time because I just could not figure out how to get it off because of the way that the linkages were put together. He made a whole video on it for me. I mean, so I have to give props to him. And let's bring him up without further ado.
What's up?
The Mower Medic.
There we go. What's up, everybody? Mower Medic 1 here. How are y'all doing tonight?
All right. All right. How you doing?
Let me adjust my camera just for a smidge.
Yes.
Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you. I don't know. Let everybody else say. Can y'all hear him pretty good?
I should have my microphone turned up as loud as it'll go.
Yeah. He says, I'm getting, yeah, everybody says it sounds good. So
okay, great. Let's get started then. Awesome.
Good. So first, let's go through some of the people on here. We got lots of your followers that thank you for making that video, because I got a lot of friends from the video that you made. So Pat the sound guy, he's one of my faves. He's been coming in. Cold Steel Cow Biter. Now you're gonna have to give us a little story on how you came up with that name. Seriously. I mean, Cold Steel Cow Biter. Ronnie Thode, Josh Pentland, thank you for coming hanging out with us. Iron Duke, DNR Small Engine, thank you so much for coming again with us. Chops Bearded, thank you again. We got Keith Kronk. Oh, lots of familiar names tonight. Ray-Ban, you said, what's that? Hey, chick, almost 18 hours, still no answer. You know what? We ain't going to forget about you. We ain't going to forget about you. We are going to get to you. Hello from Mississippi, from James Bias William. He's one of my mods there, helping me out. He says hi to the Mower Medic.
Hello.
Roger McDonald, thank you for coming in. John Egan, Gary Downs, Stevie, Stanley Brand. Thank you all. We got the popcorn popping, Stevie, huh? That sounds good about right now. We made beans and cornbread for dinner. So that's what I'm having after this.
Heck yeah.
Yep. Erwin Eve. Thank you for coming in. Stanley, John Hoosier, Richard Moore. Thank you. Do It Right Small Engine Repair. Hey. Greg Maxwell. That's my buddy from down under in Australia. So it's like early in the morning there. It's like, what do you say, Greg? Like 10 in the morning? So we got Dude Canic. That's my man. Do It Right. Let's see. Cheryl Ferguson. And Kane Benoit. I'm going to mess that up, ain't I? David Gunter, thank you for coming back. Chris's Small Engine. Obviously, we got lots of people probably with channels and content on here. Y'all go check them out. Pinball. That's my... I'm assuming that you're a man, Pinball. I was going to say, that's my man right there, you know. Always leaves great comments, so I'm going with it. All right. BJ Mason, thank you for hanging out with us. Roger McDonald. Aim for the center. Mike Murray. Oh, have I got everybody? Rusty Repairs. John Conaway. Haas Dunn. Ray McCarty. Back again. All right. Catch a Cow. We got lots of cow things going on tonight, don't we? Rob, how you doing tonight, Rob? All right. Courtney B. When and where can I get a Chickanic shirt? So far, I've only been making Chickanic shirts myself. I have like a vinyl cutter. I buy t-shirts at Hobby Lobby.
That's what I need to do. It's too expensive.
Seriously, it is expensive, but it's time consuming because you've got to pull all the vinyl and stuff like that. And I mean, it's the best way to do it, but shipping's going to eat everybody up right now. It's sort of crazy. I mean, you said you were using Teespring or Sprung. What were you using?
Yeah, I started off using Teespring, and I really didn't like it because it got so blasted expensive. And the newest company I started using was, crapola. I should have been more prepared.
It's okay.
I can't remember. It's brand new. But anyway, the T-shirts that I sent you came from that company. So I'll have to go back and look and see what.
Okay. Pretty good quality.
Yeah, it's good quality stuff. These actually, the shirt that I have on right now is from Teespring, and I have wore this sucker out.
Yeah.
But it's just they're Fruit of the Loom, heavy duty cotton. But
yeah, I think it's Gildan or something brand, and they're really good. So for my band also, that's the t-shirts I've been using forever for them. So, but it's sort of hard to know what to charge people. I don't even know what to charge people for a shirt. You know, I'm like thinking.
When I was doing it through Teespring, I used the least expensive option that you could.
Exactly. Yeah.
I wasn't in it to make money off of t-shirts. I just wanted to give people a t-shirt. But
yeah. Yep. For sure.
So it's like $15, I think.
Yeah. That ain't too bad. For sure. Okay. So I have some questions for you.
Well, I'll try to answer them best I can.
All right. So you've been doing this for 11 years.
Are you talking about YouTube?
YouTube. Yeah.
Oh, well,
no. You've been doing all the, mechanicing obviously forever, but you've been doing YouTube for 11 years.
Well, I started doing it. I made my first channel. I made a YouTube channel in 2007.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't do anything until about 2011-ish. As far as making, you can go back and look at my very first video, and it'll tell you my first video. But my channel was going to be, I was hell bent on berating the idiot customer. Look at what this guy did.
That's what you always want to do. Yeah.
But it's turned into, hey, I'm better at teaching. I want to get the information out there to help people, and so that they can save money, time, and frustration, just like you. But
isn't it funny? A lot of people say, "Why do you want to make these videos? Because then they're not going to come into the shop." And I'm just like, "Oh no, there's always going to be customers."
Yeah.
I mean,
That's
we're
right.
like, you know, it's like a dentist. You're still going to have a dentist. I mean, there's things that you can't do or you don't want to do. And a lot of times people, you know, their time is more important to them doing something else. They rather work
That's
for
right.
that $40 and pay somebody else to do that. So it's, you
Yeah,
know,
exactly.
and if that saves you frustration, sure, I'll fix it. So, but yeah, so yeah, 11. Well, that's what some of the oldest videos I was seeing of yours. Yeah, you've been doing it forever. And
Yeah.
and that is one reason that I started making videos was because some of the not yours, but some of the videos that I was watching, like there would be a certain specific thing, like it started out with a rewind that I was putting back together, and I don't know, on those old Briggs, like have you when you get a new spring for those old Briggs with the clutches, I was having the hardest time putting one in, huh? Yes. Oh, you got one on the wall. Yeah. And so I was trying to I forgot what it was, like how to twist the spring. I mean, it was something simple. And I was this one, I don't know if it was that or something else. And I'm watching this video and this guy's doing everything. And then he completely skipped the section of the exact thing that I wanted, knowing because that's the hard part. I wanted to
Yep.
see that hard part. And that's why in my videos, I show when I mess up a lot of times. I mean, now I don't I'll cut out a lot, but there are times I'm just like, oops, 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 you know. That's what happens. So yeah, I do
Thank
have a
goodness
question.
they have. That's why we love to be able to edit. We can edit that crap out.
I
But
know. People don't know. I'm like, yeah, I filmed for like at least 2 to 3 hours to make a 15-minute video. So yeah, but you know, you want to make
hey,
sure to
but
get
I've
the
got
right
some I've got
angles.
some super smart subscribers. They'll call me out and say, "Hey, you didn't tighten that bolt, but in the next frame, that bolt's in there and it's tight." But yeah,
You know, I did the same thing with my John Deere deck video. Whenever I was putting the deck hangers back on, the adjustable ones in the back, I had them backwards. And then the next scene, I'm like, oh, there they are. You know, they're all right. So I did the same thing, you know. But as long as in the end they can see, oh, wait, which ways do those deck hangers go? Oh, I see.
yeah.
Okay. All right. Question: 2.2 million views on your tire video.
Holy
Okay.
moly!
From a
Hey,
long,
I didn't say this, but I got in trouble for that video
really?
at my
From
job. I
the
got wrote up for that. I
Really?
got yeah, I got wrote up for that. And
So
it, but
everybody working that was doing that didn't get wrote up for that?
yes, everybody got in trouble, but it was
Oh my,
I was the one that put it on the internet.
yeah.
But but that
Here
video's been what? This video's 4 years old now.
it is, but that's a
Yeah.
lot of views, you know? But here's the big question, all right? How tight was your butt clenched every time y'all were trying to do that? I mean, seriously?
Well, we've done it that we've aired up tractor tires that way for years and years.
Yeah.
And it's the more starting fluid the better.
Yeah. I was seriously cringing every time they'd put the flame to it. I was like, that's crazy.
And I
But
tell
that's
you what,
awesome.
and one of the things that we told the not my supervisor, he was watching too. He was watching us do all that work.
Mhm.
But somebody on YouTube sent that video to one of the higher ups in the company that I work for, and
Yeah.
it got to the point to where it got to the guy that's over risk management. And he
Mhm.
said, "Ooh, no, we can't be doing that.
Yeah.
Y'all need to figure out a way to get that tire mounted besides using fire."
Yeah.
And we were like, "Look, we done had GNR tire came. We had another tire company come. We had 3 different tire people come to try to air this tire up, and they couldn't do it."
Oh yeah.
And Tony, my tire guy, our tire guy, said, "I'll air it up. Watch this." And you saw the result. It,
Yeah.
it aired it up just like that.
Uh-huh. So I see on the top of your banner that it says you're still certified technician. So are you also an Echo certified technician?
I am, but I have not gone through the Echo school in such a long time.
Okay, so like where you work, I mean, it just seems like you get in a bunch of everything. So,
Yeah.
I mean, is it a landscaping company or what is it?
It's not, well, yes and no. I work for a government entity
Oh, okay.
that has, we service all our own vehicles,
Mm-hmm.
heavy equipment, bulldozers, tractors, all that.
Yeah.
And I just happen to work in the small engines department.
Cool.
We work on anything with a small engine, anything from the smallest little Echo weed eater to the big diesel, 96-inch huge Toro batwing mowers. I mean, just
Yeah. Well,
so,
that's cool. Yeah, we have in the city that I live in, they have their own fleet service that does all of their repairs, but they only bring us the ones that they can't figure out. And then
gotcha.
they make it, they're like, oh, well, that's your problem now. So,
And I've done it, and it's kind of weird the way that we operate is if we have a budget.
Mm-hmm.
If we are out of our budget, we can't get parts.
Wow.
We can't operate.
Yeah.
So we have to send out some equipment. And I've done a couple of videos, and y'all guys have probably
I watched that one with the bill.
Yeah, it was like crazy amount of
Yeah.
money, and they didn't even fix it.
Yeah, I saw that. That was nuts. And I was very surprised. I mean, so you think they would give that to a homeowner or somebody, that a bill that high for a service?
There ain't no telling. But if they know that it's coming from the government, they're just going to stick it to you.
True that. Yeah.
And I'm not saying I worked at dealerships all of my life,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know. I mean, the dealerships that I worked at, it didn't matter who walked through the door; the price was the same.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. No, it's the same for us. It doesn't matter what they are.
yeah.
Now there are times like we work on all of the fire department's things, and it's gotten to a point to where like if they have a reoccurring problem with some, I mean, I almost don't even want to try to kit their carburetors. I rather just put them a new one. I don't ever replace. I don't just put new things on. But if it's like the fire department with a blower that's supposed to blow all the smoke out of a house with a Honda engine that happens to be leaking gas, I'm just replacing the carburetor because
It's way money efficiently, way money ahead in labor and the parts. What's a factory Honda carburetor cost for a HRC 215? It's $19.
Yeah, $20. Yeah, yeah. Might as well. I mean, you can mark it up to 30 and 35. You got, that's the labor that it's going to take me to take it apart and do everything else is going to cost you the difference right there. So it doesn't really matter. Oh, so.
Yeah, let's take a question if there's one out there.
I know, right? I'm looking through here. Okay, so first off, I do want to remind everybody, I don't know how many people are on here right now, but if you want to comment and you have not subscribed yet, I just wanted to reiterate that we had some problems with one of the live streams, and a bunch of spammers came on and said some really nasty comments. So we have it to where you have to be a subscriber for 5 minutes. If you would like to ask a question, the easiest thing to do is, we got 214 in the house right now. The easiest thing to do is to put it in capitals, because then we can see it, because we're sliding through here and our comments are bouncing up and down. And so let's see. I did actually on the post that we made for the this, I did have a couple of people ask questions, but I don't know if they gave us enough information. Mel Silly asked, hi, my mower cuts grass well, but sounds really, really slow when I end up walking slower. We did use your video to see and clean Carb before to get it going, Briggs and Stratton. Now, we really need a little bit more information on that one, Mel, because I asked people to leave questions in here. Cuts grass well, but sounds really slow.
It's cutting the grass, but it sounds slow, like the RPMs aren't as high as they should be. Maybe just a simple static or dynamic governor adjustment, just adjust the spring maybe.
Yeah, if you told us what kind of engine it is, or if you're on here tonight and you tell us what kind of engine it is, that would help us out a lot on telling you how you can fix that. And then there was one more through here. Monroe Hoskins. I have a question. I have a Murray walk behind mower. I've replaced the coil, the spark plug, and the carburetor. It still runs a little while and starts cutting out. I kill the engine and it will not start until it cools off. It is a Briggs and Stratton.
And we're talking about a push mower?
Walk behind. Yeah, he has a
Yeah.
Murray walk behind mower. He's replaced the coil, the spark plug, and the carburetor. Now, first, I'm going to say, is any of that aftermarket?
Yep. That's
So,
good. Yeah.
I've had really bad luck with coils that are aftermarket.
And I tell you what, and it's real easy to do on Amazon. You can type in 3.5 Briggs, and you're going to get 15 different part numbers.
Mm-hmm.
And if you order the wrong coil and put it on there, it's not going to run right.
Yeah, it is. Now, the most detrimental thing is your engine's inside, your piston and cylinder could be worn out. I mean, I don't know if that could be it. And it just give up. It give up and have, after so long. But I don't know. Let's see.
Hey, Simply Small Engine Repair. Thanks for the super chat or the super sticker.
Oh, I didn't even say. Sorry about that. I am just learning how to use StreamYard. That's why I was a little late starting. So Simply Small Engine Repair. Thank you so much. And also, I tell people go check out Mower Medic, but I'm sure everybody that's on here is part of you. All right. What do you think, Dobby Farrar? What do you think of Ryobi blowers for homeowner use? What do you think, Mower Medic, about Ryobi blowers?
Ryobi is, yeah, it's not. When they run good until they don't, and then it's just not worth fixing after that.
Yeah.
I mean, they run like a scalded ape when they're right, but they're real bad because they don't have a full crankshaft engine. They just have a half a crankshaft in there, and that backing plate on those Ryobis are always warping and sucking air. And by the time you go in there and diagnose and try to repair, it's just not worth the money to fix them.
Jeremy, have you messed with that Ryobi backpack blower that you have to, the rewind is part of the outside cover, but and it covers the spark plug so you can't check compression on it?
It's ridiculous, ain't it?
Yeah. Yeah, you can't get to the spark plug without taking the entire shell of the back end off. And so, all right. All caps will scare off all the snowflakes. What's up? No. All right.
It looks like I need a little bit better lighting because it looks like I got some shadows going on. But
you do look a little dark there.
But I got a ring light, but I don't know where it's at the moment. But we'll figure out better lighting next time.
Okay, here we go. Andy Brooks, Mower Medic. Are you seeing a lot of leaking steel BR 600 crankcases?
I've got video after video after video about the BR 600s. Go and search and look at my playlist for 2-cycle repair. They're all on there. Crank seals, the bottom of the sumps leak, camshafts are wearing out constantly on those.
Yeah. I've got 3 sitting in the back of my house right now. I'm thinking about messing with that all have those issues. That's funny that they asked that question. Okay. Thanks, William, for telling everybody. Put the questions in caps. Let's see. Daryl Orr, explain why Echo allows for larger bar lengths per engine cc, whereas steel is more conservative. Steel doesn't like to run bigger bars.
Steel runs a skinnier chain, and their kerf on their chain isn't quite as large as, say, a Echo that runs the Oregon chain from the factory.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of that has to do with, what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But like I used to have a CS 670, and it came with a 20-inch bar, but you could put a 24 on it and not crowd it too bad.
Yeah. They even say you could put the 24 on the CS 590.
Yeah.
I have not like actually put one in wood to know what it does or how much it drags down compared to the 20-inch, but
around here, 20 inches is all you need. We don't have
yeah.
we don't have huge wood down here.
Yep. Well, you're in Texas, ain't you? Texas.
Yeah, I'm just a minute from you.
I know. We can like actually meet up sometime for
You
real.
can do that. We need to have a YouTuber meetup sometime.
With all them people from Canada?
Well, heck yeah.
Yeah, I know. And then we'll have to, ship Mick over here. Speaking of, are you going to the expo?
No, matter of fact, it's on the 20th,
Mhm.
21st, and 22nd, and I can't go.
I can't either.
No,
So
I just can't do it.
my kid's got cotillion. So
And
I gotta do
October is a bad month for us because my birthday, my daughter's birthday, my wife's birthday, my stepdaughter's birthday, and uh, my wife's sister's birthday are all within a week. I mean, that's what it's hectic. October is birthday month
Yeah.
for us.
All right. So Terry Baker, have any of y'all had any issues lately with steel carburetors like the one on the TS420s?
I've worked on a few of those cutoff saws and really don't have very many carburetor issues.
No.
It's the people that won't clean that air filter, and it just gets so packed with concrete.
In one use, I think in
Yeah.
1, 2 uses, it can be, if they're not cleaning it out every single time they use it, they're going to burn their chop saw up.
Yep, it's it. I mean, and they won't use a water kit, so it's just that saw is in a freaking dust storm the whole time.
Yeah.
Oh man.
And we discussed this before through comments, but Mower Medic, Jeremy and I, we have the same consensus on working on chop saws. Out of all the equipment that we work on, that's one of our things that we don't like to do at all, because I don't like the dust first, and I like to, double check, make sure things are, if they're burned up. And a lot of the chop saws, I'm going to say that probably 90% of all the chop saws that I get into the shop, they either have water in them, or they need a primer bulb, or they're burned up. Like those are the 3 problems with chop saws. And
And the
so
deal in those chop saws, you know how you usually pull the muffler to look and see if the piston and cylinder are scored.
that's what I'm
Well,
saying.
on a chop saw, it won't be scored. It'll just be completely washed out.
Yeah.
Because of the dirt ingestion. Yeah. It's just like liquid sandpaper in there.
Mm-hmm.
It wears them completely out.
But what do you got to do to get the muffler off?
Yeah.
You got to tear the whole thing apart. It
Yeah.
sucks. So yeah, that's not one of my fun things to do. Oh, Randy Hayes. Hello. Another question. What stabilizer would you use on a lawnmower for the winter? What's your favorite stabilizer, Jeremy?
Well, I guess I would just stay with Stabil's good. I mean, they're all they all, in my opinion, work just as good as another. I mean, honestly, I would just run that engineered fuel in my trimmer. I run it. I run that engineered fuel all the way through the summer, and when I get ready to store my weed eater or my chainsaw, I just fill it up with engineered fuel and run it until it gets hot and put it on the shelf. And it has never failed me to start the next season.
Have you seen a lot of issues come? Oh, so you're not getting homeowner units into your shop?
The Mower Medic shop?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, you are? Okay. So have you seen anybody having the problem with the True Fuel?
I haven't.
I've seen I don't know if it's just my area or what, but there's been like multiple times that people have brought it in. They all say the same thing. It was a can of True Fuel that they got from Lowe's, and it had that unit had ran on it for months, and all of a sudden it wouldn't run on it anymore. Or they just got another can and it won't run on it. And all I do is put my gas in and it runs fine. So I've had multiple issues.
Now, when I went to the steel school, they were talking about the Moto mix.
Yeah.
And that during the process of making it, something went wrong. And of course, Moto mix and True Fuel and the Husqvarna, all of that comes out of the same spigot.
Yeah.
It's all the same manufacturer makes it for everybody.
Really? Okay.
But yeah, but Steel did say that they had an issue with a batch of their moto mix, and
Yeah.
their equipment wouldn't run on it.
Uh-huh. You know, I had a we at the shop, we don't go and buy a bunch of ethanol free fuel for all the stuff that we fix. So whenever we do get the fuel, and I mix it with my Echo oil, and I put in ethanol shield into everything. And for years I have firmly stand behind, because of the units that I keep at the house, that I know that I like. My backpack blower, I have a Steel BR 400. It starts every single time on the same gas that's been sitting in it. I almost think for years but I use ethanol shield, and I really stood behind it. But this last year, I've been seeing it happen worse and worse. And what is really odd is I had a customer come in, and we put ethanol shield in all the gas that we get, because I have so many customers that don't pick up their stuff. I had a friend that had a log splitter. He had us put a new engine on it, and he hasn't picked it up for 3 months. It will not run on that gas that has been sitting for 3 months. And so we changed the gas out, put some fresh fuel in it, and it ran. So I'm going to say gas doesn't last 60 days anymore.
It won't. I mean, it's ridiculous. I bought some
Yeah.
gas for my my personal riding lawnmower, and 2 weeks later, it's yellow.
Yeah.
It's so oxidized that it's already attracted moisture within 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Gas is this gas that we buy is just junk.
Yeah, they don't want us to be able to store gas, I think.
No.
That's what I think. So, which is not cool.
If you had, the only way that you could store gas and make it last, if you had a container that you were able to actually suck the air out. That's it. I mean, but there's not a container that will do that.
No. All right, let's see if we have any more. Let's see. Edward Miranda, SRM 2620 Series X, new, don't start, spark, real excellent. Did we? We might have lost part of that. No spark on a new?
That's a new unit.
I've had zero issues with those trimmers. I mean,
yeah, I haven't, except that's the trimmer that I had in the video of the customer with the bill that was high.
With the what?
The bill that was expensive.
Remember it was.
That was a 2620.
Yeah.
But it wasn't the weed eater's fault. It was the shop. But anyway.
Yeah.
It says, what's this? This says SRM 2620 series. It's the X torque, I'm assuming. It says new, won't start. Spark is excellent. First thing I would check would be make sure my fuel is fresh. Make sure you didn't put old fuel in your new trimmer.
Yeah.
I mean, that's about.
That's why I made that one video about whenever I was showing people with the ethanol shield, because probably 70% of the 2 cycles I get in have bad gas or water. Throughout the whole year, 70% have water or bad gas.
Yep.
But we get like, I don't know how many units you get. We get in like 2,000 to 2,300 units every year. You know, that's all of them, riders and chainsaws and push mowers, generators and everything. So let's see. Any advice? Oh, everything popped up on me. I just lost my questions here. Okay. Any advice on adjusting a carb of a Husqvarna weed eater? So there's lots of steps you're going to want to go through before you just go adjusting on a carburetor. Was it running okay before? Was it something that suddenly happened? Was it a process over time? Did you let it sit for a long period of time and now it's immediate? Do you think you need an adjustment? If it's something that sat for a long time, I can get diaphragms to loosen up a lot of the time, because over time they get hard and they're not going to pump the gas, and they're either pumping too much gas or not enough gas. So you have to sit there, and you might sit there for 10-15 minutes messing with the choke it, take it off, choke it, run it full. You're just messing with it just to get those diaphragms loosened up. A lot of times that will work. You need to check your fuel. Like we were just saying, fuel is one of the most terrible, things that go bad. And then also look inside your plug hole and make sure you're not burnt up. And then any other advice, Jeremy?
It's like you said, it's just, it says any advice on adjusting the carb on a Husqvarna. It doesn't matter if it's a Husqvarna or an Echo or a Steel. You need to figure out, if you you're not chasing your tail. You want to make sure everything's good before you start adjusting carbs, like Bree said about checking the piston and cylinder and checking your fuel.
Mm-hmm.
And if, once you get all your diagnostics out of the way, then you can talk about adjusting the carb or maybe even replacing it if you think you have a carb issue.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And then also there's also exhaust. I don't know if you're using steel oil or something or mixing any oil heavy, you will have a
That's right,
clogged
because a
exhaust.
clogged exhaust will mimic a carburetor adjustment.
It will. Yeah. So you have all those things to think about before we even think about touching the adjustments on a carburetor.
Adjusting the carburetor is the last thing that I do.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
don't. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's not the first because there's a reason. There's a reason that you got to go there. So, all right. Let's see. Daniel Leslie, what is the most reliable large blower, 800 or Echo 9010? I haven't seen the 800 yet. I mean, I've seen hundreds and hundreds of 600s and 700s. I've not seen an 800 yet. What do you think?
Well, I'm not biased. And
I am.
I work on a crap ton of steel and I work on a crap ton of Echo.
Yeah.
We don't work on Husqvarnas. We don't have that down here.
Yeah.
There's not a dealer within 50 miles of me. So
really,
I don't Husqvarna. I worked on one tree trimmer, and that was last year. But the Echo blowers are, to me, honest opinion, are superior over a steel. A Husqvarna blower. I don't know. I don't work on them, so I can't say.
mm-hmm.
But that man, the BR600 with that 4-cycle engine is just just cams go out, valve adjustments constantly, just leaking oil everywhere all the time, and it's just not a good deal.
So were you working on them were you working on steels when they first came out with those backpack blowers, and they actually sold, like when you bought a blower, they came with a 10 thousandths gauged feeler gauge and a little adjusting screw?
Yeah.
I mean, how could you sell a product and be like, here's the parts or the tools you'll need to fix it?
You buy a BR600. Oh, here's the pack of tools you need to keep it running.
That's a little crazy. Now the 9010s, man, they're nice. They're huge.
What is the model that they had a recall on for something?
The 8010?
Is that it? And they went to the 9010?
Yeah, they only had the 8010 out for a hot minute, and it was like this issue, this issue, this issue, and
they said, "Oh, hold up."
Yeah, I mean,
let's revamp it and
they're really good about Echo's really good about that. I mean, when it comes to they're warranting machines whenever they they know that they're in the wrong. Just like the coils, with having a 5-year homeowner warranty on the coil for parts and labor, and then lifetime on the piece. It's that's awesome, because I thought steel 20 years ago used to do that. They used to have a lifetime warranty, but they don't anymore. As far as I'm sure, as far as I know. So
I don't know. I'd have to go back and look at my book, but I think they might have lifetime on the coil. Don't quote me.
If they do, none of the shops around here will honor it. I don't know, because I've tried to tell customers, this, go try to get this under warranty, and they've told me that no. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people think warranty means service policy.
No. Like that. No, I did sell a SRM 2620 a couple months ago to a guy who burned it up in the first week. And he thought it was under warranty. And I'm like, oh no, that's not under warranty. That's going to be
and man, they get so mad, but then they kind of calm down after you talk to them about it.
So yes, I'm going to say the 9010 is the most awesome blower you will ever use. I swear the tubes on it are like sewage drains. They're so huge. But if you had 2 of those, I swear you could fly off the ground. I mean, it would like lift you up. So, and I've had nothing but great feedback on those. So, um, let's see. Lots of adjustment questions. Now, like I said, like we were saying, we can tell you how to adjust it, and there's you know, that's
Yeah.
why I don't do it in my videos. I have not been telling people how to adjust
You just can't.
carburetors.
Not today with the trimmers or equipment that has uh, rev limiters in the coils.
Mm-hmm.
You can't adjust it the old school way where you would run it wide open and you would lean it
Yeah.
until it bogged out, and then you'd go back the other way until it bogged out, and then you would find the sweet spot in the middle. You can't do that. Now you have to adjust the carburetors by RPM. I mean, you have to have a tachometer. You got to have the PET 9000 Echo ignition analyzer. Those things are about $1,000.
Yeah.
I don't even own one of those.
No, that's for sure. Okay. Let's see. Terry Baker. I've warranted 5 carburetors that were factory defective and still said send it back and we'll warranty it. Well, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good that they stand behind that.
Yeah, and there were probably Zamas.
Yeah. Yeah.
Steel owns Zama now, or they have for about a decade.
Let's see. About older, you've got any videos? I don't, but Jeremy might. What do y'all think about the older Red Max chainsaws? Have you got any videos on the saw? I don't have any Red
I
Max
don't have
videos.
any Red Max videos either. I got one video, and it's titled Blue Max, and it came from. It's a Red Max clone, but I couldn't get parts for it, so I didn't finish off the video series on that.
Now we see a lot of blowers here, but I don't see many many of the trimmers, or see a lot of blowers, but not a lot of chainsaws. I'm sorry, I got confused there. All right.
A lot of you guys that have equipment that live in different parts of the United States, a lot of the stuff we see down here, y'all have, but we don't.
Yeah, everybody always asks questions about snow blowers. Do you ever work on snow blowers?
Snowblower, what is that?
I don't really, yeah, I have no idea. I don't think I've ever seen a snowblower. So BJ Mason, question on my Cub Cadet riding mower. The steering wheel is loose and one tire isn't straight. Do you think I need to grease gear? Oh, I'm
Sounds like you might have hit something. Yeah.
Yeah.
You got some ball joint issues going on. You need to figure out what's going on before we,
Yep. And a lot of times you can get like whole aftermarket kits with everything in there.
Yeah, you can, especially on an MTD.
Yeah. Brett Frazee. How are you doing, Brett? Chickanic, can you do a video on repairing the I-75 starter found on an Echo SRM 225i? You know, I don't know why. I don't ever keep those in stock and sell them. I mean, we have Sutherland selling Echo also in another shop in town who might have sold some, and I just don't ever even think about that. Not one hasn't really broke on me to have to deal with it, but I just keep the regular SRM 225s because it starts so easy. I don't know how you can make it start any easier than that.
Mm-hmm.
So lots of people are talking about airplane gas. I've never even knew that, I could go to the airport and get airplane gas. I didn't know that was an option. but I bet that's expensive.
It is. It's like $8 or $9 a gallon.
Woo! I spent $50 to fill up my little tiny SUV.
Avgas is you can run small engines love avgas because it's ethanol free and it's super high octane, but it's expensive to run, buddy. You don't want to buy 5 gallons of that.
Yeah. My question at 8:30 got skipped. Oh no, Mark. Is it in big letters? Write it again. I'm sorry. Everything's sort of crazy. I'm going up and down and I don't know what I'm seeing here. So
I wish
ask
I could,
it again.
Yeah.
Huh? Can you see the comments?
Let's see. I scrolled up. Let's see if I can go to 8:30 and see what it says. There's 7:24.
Oh, Pat the sound guy. Now, Pat's my buddy. He says I have some snowblower videos on his channel. He works on a lot of them. So go check Pat out.
Yeah.
For sure.
I'm still searching for the. I don't know.
Give an opinion on. Oh yeah, Richard. We just did give an opinion on it. We're not fans. Not fans.
The 4Mix is a good engine, but you have to keep up the maintenance, or they will just absolutely go south on you quick.
Yeah. So, what do you think about? Let's let the questions catch up again. What do you think about California banning 2 cycles and 4 cycles generators, like ATVs? What
are they gonna? I just don't understand that. I don't know how many megatons of fuel it takes to mine lithium, because to get enough stuff to make a battery, you could just be cleaner with burning a gasoline engine.
Totally. It makes absolutely no sense. These the way they think this is going to be green, there's no way to make this green. You can't have green machines getting the lithium out. It's just it's never going to work. Did you know that it takes that right now they're mining 85,000 tons of lithium every year for the demand, and it takes 500,000 gallons of water to mine 1 ton of lithium. So what it does in the area, it takes all the fresh water supply up like that, and the water goes back into the ground and yada whatever. But I mean, that's like 42 trillion gallons of water a year to mine, and who knows what happens when it goes through the lithium. And I mean, that's just bizarre. That they think that's any kind of better. So I don't know how they're going to do it once the place is in Amazon, because electric's never going to keep up, and all of these landscapers are never going to be able to afford how much is it? How much is a battery powered riding mower or zero turn?
Oh goodness, I haven't even wanted to look and see.
No, there's no way. I mean, they're going to
There's YouTube video after YouTube video of folks, people getting sent those electric zero turns. And the biggest complaint on the videos that I've watched is, we'll only got like 45 minutes of mowing and it's dead.
Yeah.
And then, and then I have to charge it.
Yep.
So, I mean,
and there's no fixing.
A landscaper can't do that. He'd have to have, I don't know, battery power is I don't know, it's just not where it needs to be.
No, it's not. And I know a lot of people they comment on my videos that, battery power electric. I don't know where you live, but here in Arkansas, you got to have gas powered stuff. It's just not happening. There's no way I have 1.5 acres. There's no way I could keep up with it all with electric. There's no way.
I bought my wife the little steel electric trimmer that has the little bitty plastic blades on it. I can't remember the model number of it. SA 25 or something like that. And I charged it up and I said, all right, so this one's super light. You can use it around your garden beds. 10 minutes later, she's handed it back to me and said, it's dead. And I said, oh gosh. So, I mean, it ain't there. The battery power to me, I mean.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's the thing. They're not going to sell them anymore. So you can actually, I think, use the ones that are in existence right now. But like Pat's saying here, the repair businesses in California is going to boom because people will need to keep their gas machines running. So yes, the lawnmower repair shops probably will be doing really well keeping all this stuff going. But
So kind of give us some more. I haven't read up on it, but so give us some more information about the ban. They're banning small engines in California?
2024, you cannot buy, they're not going to sell any brand new, or it's going to be illegal to sell any brand new four-wheelers, generators. I mean,
ATVs too, huh?
yeah, everything. They want to be, that's oh, it's just digging a hole, I swear. I don't know. But
Oh man, I just don't know. They'll just go to Nevada and buy it and bring it back over there. Can you do that? Buy it somewhere else and bring it home to?
oh, that's going to be, illegal.
Yeah.
So that's just like, I think, isn't it cigarettes or something that there's some cigarettes you can't take across certain state lines and stuff like that because, I mean, even when you're like ordering wine and stuff like that, there's some states they won't be able to ship to. I'm sure California is going to be the same way, that it's illegal if you ship in anything at all like that. So Cali is whacked. I'm actually a Cali girl. I was born in Los Angeles, but I moved to Arkansas when I was 11, and so I am a full-blown Arkie now. So okay. Oh my God, just found the real professionals. Hope everyone is doing great. Rally small engine. I don't know. That's sort of scary. Oh.
I told Rayleigh Small Engines whenever we go on vacation to the East Coast to Myrtle Beach, we're going to stop by and I'm going to shake his hand.
Oh, is that where he is?
Yeah, no, he's in North Carolina, but it'll be on the way.
Mm-hmm.
We'd have to make a special stop just to say hi.
Courtney B, will you be posting more videos about lawn tractors? Well, both of us, I'm sure, will. But right now, I'm just so busy with chainsaws. I have nothing but chainsaws on the brain, chainsaws and blowers.
Yeah, chainsaw season right now, and leaf blower.
Yeah, and so I think my past 3 videos have been chainsaws, and I'm just like, I'm sorry. That's just that's the problems I'm seeing right now, and that's how I make my videos. It's like something comes in, it's on the counter, and I feel like, you know what? This is something that I see all the time. I need to make a video on it. I can take it home this evening. And so it's just was sort of just by circumstance of the videos I make a lot of times. I'm not planned out. I was on a live stream with Mick, and Bruce is going on vacation, and he said that he has makes 17 or something videos that he will post while he's on his 3-month vacation, and I'm like, I can't think of tomorrow.
I can't have a backlog. I don't have a log of videos ready to go.
No. I make it and I'm like editing and then I post it. It's like, I can't be that prepared yet. I don't know. I got too much other things going on. So William says 271 in the house. Yes, 271 in the house tonight and only 142 thumbs up. Yes, everybody give us a like. Thank you. Oh, how long have we been on here? Oh, almost an hour. Oh, for the past 5 years. Let's see. What's this say? Matt Mutz, my Echo SRM 225 very slowly leaned out over about the first 4 hours of runtime. I replaced the carb with an adjustable main jet. I run it extremely rich. I have it clean and plug often. Leaned out over the first.
What's the question? Is that just? I'm reading that as just a statement. I don't think that's a question. He's just telling us that he replaced the carb and he runs it really rich. Is there a question, Matt?
So when you say you replace the carb with an adjustable main jet, so is that a different carb than what came on it? I mean, because the carb has the adjustments. Medic made a video on it.
Yeah, 225 has it has a high and a low Main
Mm-hmm.
adjustment.
Yeah. But they're hidden. And if you would like to find out where those adjustments are, go on over to Mower Medic's page and watch his video. So I've had really good luck with them. I have one customer who I don't know what she does to her trimmers other than she runs them harder than most people that I know. And she's the only one who has issues with her SRM 225. Other than that, they last forever. You know, they're a good trimmer. Now,
Yeah.
nothing's as good as the FS85, the steel FS85. You remember that?
Mm.
I
Oh
mean,
yeah, you couldn't
the,
kill it.
no, I still see them today all the time. Even that are 20 plus years old.
Yeah.
Yeah. So is there a Dallas Expo coming up? No?
I don't know about that.
I don't know.
I'd have to look it up, see if there's surely there's some kind of turf expo coming out somewhere around here.
Yeah.
It's got to be. I'll do some more digging on that.
Do they have small engine schools around your area?
Mm, yes and no. The colleges around here have small engine classes.
Yeah. Ours used to, and I think they got rid of the program.
Oh, well, the Briggs and Stratton schools in Dallas.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, our distributor puts on a 4-day technician school.
You getting any camshafts in yet?
Man, those camshafts are just wearing the lobes right off.
Have you tried any of those aftermarket camshafts?
Though, yeah, no, personally I haven't, but I've seen videos about they'll install the cam from Amazon and it lasts like 5 minutes.
Like
And
the
then
first time you run it, it blows up. Yeah, it's
it's
bizarre.
destroyed.
Yeah, I don't even know why they're continuing to sell it. It's sort of crazy. Just like with the, we're seeing that a lot with the aftermarket carburetors, the Nike carburetors, especially for years. We had, you could get an aftermarket one and there really wasn't an issue with it. The majority of the time they work just fine, but at least 50% of the time now, they don't work at all, the aftermarket carburetors. So we've gotten to a point to whenever it comes to that point and it's not kiddable, we tell a customer we gotta buy OEM because we're just tired of taking the gamble.
Yeah.
So what do you think about Japanese small engines, Honda, Subaru, Kawasaki, Mahatbat, Kanamarak? What do you think, Jeremy?
Any of those are good. The Subarus, the overhead cam Subarus, the Hondas, the Chondas, I call them, the Chinese knockoffs.
Mm-hmm.
The little Harbor Freight little engine, man, you can't beat it with a stick. Them things will run forever. You take care of it.
Yeah. And then if you do let it sit, you just buy another $25 carburetor and put it on there. No, they'll run. There's no reason for it. I tell everybody go down to Harbor Freight and get those knockoff engines, those $100 engines to put on their go-karts.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the way to go. For sure. Let's see. I guess you missed my US2 question. Aim for the center. I did. Sorry about that. Oh, never use Jeep. So if you have a question, sort of be specific about, it can't just be like hard to start because there's so many things that can make it hard to start. You need to give it a little background on that. So Brett says, I forgot to take that comment down. Brett says, love my FS85 and my BR400. Yes, I have a BR400. I love it. I will never, ever get rid of it. They're actually sort of heavy.
Yeah, the BR400, the 420 Magnum, man, that's a good blower. I cried the day that they just announced they weren't going to make those anymore.
Uh-huh. Yeah. We got a question for you, Jeremy. How did you like the Bauer drill from Harbor Freight?
I got I can't remember if it was the Bauer or the or whatever the other brand that they have. I've used a P out of that thing. I replaced it with that to replace my DeWalt. Uh, I just decided to try the Harbor Freight one, and so far it's been good.
Yeah. All right. 420 all the time. Okay, it's giving us. It's all of a sudden hard to start. Well, you said, hold on. What did you say? What kind it was a second ago? Ethanol-free gas in it. I have let's start with this one. I have a Briggs 7.75 pressure washer I just picked up that has been sitting around. The guy bought it. He bought it from, said it was sitting with gas in it. I emptied it out and put fresh non-ethanol fuel in it. Where'd the rest of the, and then we go down 420. It all of the sudden hard to start, makes a grinding noise when I try to crank it on the Briggs 7.75.
A grinding sound.
Is the grinding coming from the rewind or the pump?
It might be the pump.
Yeah. Things that sit, I don't know where you're at, but especially here in Arkansas, when temperatures get down, a lot of people that don't take care of this stuff, they leave. If you leave your pressure washer outside and it freezes, it can destroy it. And also, if you lose the screen that goes into where the water inlet is, the screen that keeps debris out, it doesn't take much debris at all to ruin a pump. So
kind of reiterate or kind of make it more clear about where the grinding's coming from, and then make another comment, and we'll get back to you on that.
Mm-hmm. Is there a difference between small engine 4-cycle oil and automotive oil? What you think, Jeremy?
Oh man, there is such a huge difference.
Yeah.
Automotive oil lacks a lot of things that the small engine oil has, like your what they call it, the packages that they put in the oil, like I can't name it, the one off the top of my head, not Molly, but like Royal Purple. They have a lot of zinc in it. The Kohler oil has a additive package that's full of zinc, and the heavier the metals that are in the oil, like I said, zinc. Zinc is a very lubricates better than, say, a synthetic. You can buy a synthetic with zinc in it, and the reason that they don't put zinc in automotive oils is because of catalytic converters. That zinc will clog a catalytic converter in no time. So that's the biggest difference. I mean, really.
Mm-hmm. You know what? I've had a customer though that he was bringing his he bought his backpack blower in and his trimmer in, and I knew that he was maintaining his equipment correctly. He ran it good. I mean, he ran it all the time. He didn't let it sit. And for some reason, both of these units, I was so bumfuzzled on why they wouldn't run, because I couldn't understand. I could not get them to go right. So to find out at the end of it, after hours and hours of trying to go through I went through everything on these machines. I'm thinking there's both of them doing the same exact thing. There's got to be a common denominator that really messed these up, because they both had compression. The piston still looked good, but I went and asked him, like, what kind of oil are you running in your machines? And he told me he was running boat oil, both 2-cycle oil in his 4-cycle, or in his 2-cycle, small engines. And the difference there is a difference between water cooled and air cooled, and the difference in the oil. And I know for a fact, and I've seen this in another unit too, that it's really weird how it messes it. I don't even know how to say it.
Well, I mean, the boat oil runs in a boat motor that gets about 180 degrees.
Yeah.
Because it's engineered to run in that cool boat motor.
Yeah.
You run boat oil in a 2-cycle trimmer that gets 250, 350 degrees,
Mm-hmm.
that oil will coke and cook as that engine's running. It ain't designed for the heat.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. So I got this question, Edward Miranda, chainsaw Echo CS490 and a 510 hard to start. Now, there's lots of things that it could be, but I did want to say, come back to this and tell you that, especially on the CS590, with the Echoes, they're so easy to start that sometimes you can miss. I don't use the decompression valve. So if you're using the decompression valve, that's another thing that um sometimes you will miss the pop off, like and you will over choke it is what you'll do, and
You'll
it'll
flood
all
it.
be, yeah, you'll flood it right off the bat because
Yeah.
whenever I start a CS590, I put a choke, I pull it once, and then I take it off choke and I start at the next pull without the decompression trigger. So
Yep.
just letting you know that a lot of times that could be one of your issues.
Yep.
If it's not an epiphany of, a plethora of other
Yeah.
things.
Just like Bree said, if when you go to start it, you choke it and you pull it. If that engine makes any flutter, if it farts one time, take it off choke
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
then try to start it.
Yep. Yeah, Pat says outboard oil is horrible on regular air-cooled two-strokes. Yes, for sure. So, do you open class? What is that? Carl Frank, do you ever repair mowers with EFI, specifically Kohler ECV 749? That's you or my husband's forte.
Yeah, the modules are constantly going out, and then most of the time it's the connector where the engine meets the tractor that they corrode, and mainly it's wiring issues, wiring problems.
Yeah.
Once you lose that ground, that EFI just goes nuts.
I hate electrical, but and I, being on the counter, I get all the electrical questions, and it's sort of, tasking, and I won't let people buy, they'll come in and they automatically think they need a starter, and that's where they're starting from. And I'm like, no, we need to figure out why you think you need a starter. And then sometimes they'll say, oh, because it's in pieces. Okay, yeah, you need a starter. But a lot of times I'm not going to sell somebody a starter for a safety switch issue or a blown fuse, or there's so many things to go through with all of that. Okay. Andy Brooks, I watched your Sweet Child of Mine video. Chickanic can sing. I do. I have a band. Did you know that, Jeremy, that I have a band?
Yeah, I do.
And we just played last weekend.
I had a friend's request from Bree Wild, and it had a picture of a nice looking young lady, and I just automatically
you thought I was one of those strippers.
I declined every one of those. Decline, because I didn't know it was you.
Yeah, I know. I look a little different on that Facebook profile. Yeah, so I do. I have a band, and we played last weekend at our Hot Springs Spa City Rocktober Music Festival. That was a fun gig. Now, if you saw the Sweet Child of Mine version of me singing 6 years ago, that was scary. Okay. Don't judge me on that one. All right. So I got some newer stuff on the Facebook. Go check that out. So Mowers and Blowers is in the house. How you doing tonight? Oh,
What's going on there, buddy?
Yeah, Andy Becker says, on my Echo equipment, I never pull with the choke on more than twice. On the third pull, they start almost every time. Exactly. Yeah.
And I think, and that is absolutely the biggest issue or the biggest complaint is just not choke, not knowing when to take it off choke.
Exactly. No, and it's you were talking at the beginning about how, tell customers how, you started your YouTube channel to be like, look at these, that's one thing. Whenever somebody comes in and they're, I start chainsaws all day long, every day or whatever. I start units. So I don't have any strength in my left arm, but I can elbow somebody really hard if I needed to. So when they come in with their 590 that's brand new and they're like, I can't make it start and I don't like it. And I take it out there and as a woman and, I start it second pull and they're like, yeah, I guess it was me and not the saw.
Yeah.
So, but not saying I enjoy that. Oh, yes. Yes, Dude Canic, my husband, he's chapping in. He's like, I was great on that video. Yes, he was. His guitar solo is on point when it comes to some Guns N' Roses. But yeah, Francis Lang says Echo GT 225, the best trimmer. It is. I mean, that engine that they put on that is the same one they put on the SRM 225, the PAS 225. It is a good engine that's going to last you a long time. Make sure to maintain it. Check your air filter and your split plug. Other than that, use fresh fuel. You'll have it forever. So.
Yep. I can attest to that. My GT, I've got the it's the 225. No, wait. Oh, I don't even know what kind of trimmer I own. It's the SRM 210i with that super easy start.
Mm-hmm.
And man, I bought it back in '99. That's how old that is.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I've seen a couple of them, but I don't know why we haven't seen that many eyes around here. And I don't keep them in stock. I keep the other one in stock because it already starts so easy. I can't imagine how it could start any easier.
Man.
Oh, what's this say? When is Mower Medic going to meet Donnie Boy? When are you going to meet him?
I kind of did already. No, I really haven't. I've never had a chance to meet Donnie Boy because he's so blasted far away. But
yeah,
he's got a nephew. Go to my channel and search Donnie Boy 73's nephew. And actually, he came and hung out with us. It was a real neat experience.
Yes. Question for both of you from Jeff Stanley. Where are your go-to places for small engine parts? So other than our distributors, where's yours?
Mine,
Jeremy?
well, our distributors, but I am a firm believer in buying local. Go to your local lawnmower shop to get your parts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, we do. I mean, if it's something, I'm not a steel dealer, so if I have to get steel parts or a Toro part or something like that, I mean, we're all friends. There's 5 different lawnmower shops in this town, and we all give each other discounts, and that way it's much easier. And so if it's something totally oddball, now,
I mean, of course, I mean, you can go online and buy small engine parts, but here's the problem. Now, and I understand, Amazon's pretty good about their they're not, I don't want to call them warranty on the parts, but they'll take back anything. You could just say I don't like it and send it back. That's the only good thing about buying parts through Amazon. And you can get OEM parts on Amazon, but you're going to pay out the nose for them. So just go to your dealer and you get them cheaper anyway.
Yeah. Now, Parts Tree is my next go-to place when it comes to really weird stuff that I can't get because it's like $7 shipping, and if you order from them and have an account, they give you a little bit of a discount, and so that's if it's something really weird that I can't get it, I get it from them. But usually, I get it from one of the dealers here in town. My boy Bald Eagle's in the house. What you saying, Bald Eagle? Good evening, everyone. Hope all is doing well. This has been a purging weekend for me. Long lost, projected. I don't have time for heading to the salvage yard tomorrow morning. I don't want to go to work tomorrow. Really don't. Thank you, Bald Eagle, for hanging out with us. Oop, everything just popped up on me. What's this? Oop. Daryl Orr, have you noticed the SRM 225 has an EPA rating of 50 hours, but the Shindawa 235 has a rating of 300 hours? Same basic trimmer.
The 225 has a 300-hour rating too. Excuse me. I can now a Poulan has a 50-hour rating. I'd like to see the 225 with a 50-hour rating.
Yeah, I
I've
didn't
never
know
seen
that.
one.
No.
Mm-mm. And
Hmm.
that's and in the 300-hour rating, that doesn't mean that's how long that trimmer is going to last. That's just how long that the emission system is supposed to last on that trimmer. And the only thing that you can
Yeah.
replace on the trimmer is the only emissions thing on it is the catalytic converter and the muffler.
Yep. Yep. What's this? What can I do? So, what can I do to get the emulsion tube out of a carburetor? What are your suggestions?
Number 2 crochet needle.
I don't have one of those.
You
I'll
need
have
to
to get
get
me
you
one.
one.
Yeah?
I used a Tecumseh tool, and if I had time, I'd run out to my toolbox and get it. But I don't. It's just I can't remember what the part number is, but it's a Tecumseh carburetor tool that has a crochet needle on the end, and it has a little.
Yeah, those are cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I charge $50 an hour, but I work fast. There it's funny because I do all the 2-cycle stuff at the shop, and so our labor rate at the shop is $75, but it really doesn't matter what if I take longer than a half an hour, my charge is usually 37.50. I don't know, even if I'm putting a carburetor kit, full service, whatever, it's 37.50. Less, way less if I don't do like that service that you had. That's crazy. If I'm only doing a service and it's a trimmer that has no issues, it's seriously like 22.50 because I'm going to take
Yeah.
it out and run it and make sure it's good to go and stuff like that. And
Yeah,
that takes up some of my time.
we never charged extra if we were doing a tune-up and it needed a carburetor. We didn't charge another half an hour to put the carburetor on. It was included
Mhm.
with the $69.95 2-cycle tune-up.
Yeah. Mopar Scott, thoughts on the Echo PB 210E blower? Picked up 2 of them. Is the 210 like is
That's
that
an
an old
oldie.
gray
That's an
one?
oldie but a goodie. I tell
Is
you
it
what.
is it gray? Is that one of the
It,
old ones?
it's the gray one, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Any of the gray Echo equipment is if it still has good compression and cylinder and all that, I
Is that
have
the is the 210? Is that the one that's got is square, looks like a brick? I can't remember. It's been so long.
yes.
I got a
I
phone.
bet
I
it
just look it
is.
up.
I bet it is. Are we talking about the handheld square looking are we talking about the handheld? Show
Hold
me a
on, just
picture. Show me a
yeah.
picture.
PB 210.
No, 37.50 is not my per hour charge. I'm just saying that's what I usually charge because things,
Yeah,
I'm not
that's
timing
it right
myself.
there. That's the square. That is a
Oh.
commercial unit right there.
Whoa, yeah, I've seen one of those. I have seen one of those blowers
Yeah,
before.
there's like I said, it's an oldie, but it's a goodie.
Yeah, no, the old gray ones. Now that's what
Yeah.
I'm talking about. Those ones lasted forever. I still see them today. This question must be for you. I just want to know if Cowboy is still alive. I used to have a Boston Terrier. Is that your dog?
Cowboy. I wish he was in here. He's not in here right now. Yeah, he's still alive. He's still kicking.
So is he a Boston Terrier? Is that what he is?
He is a Chihuahua Boston Terrier mix.
Oh, okay. I got 2 English Bulldogs. They're a mess, man. So let's see. Does Echo make a good hedge trimmer? What do you think about the hedge
Absolutely.
trimmers?
Yes. Good.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I love the way that they adjust the blades. It's just a bolt and a lock nut. I mean, that's it. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
and
And
easy to sharpen.
it was really cool too because actually for a bit there they came out with one model that had a little issue with the blades locking up and they did a complete warranty where they'd replace the gearbox and the blade set because they
Mhm.
knew. I mean, Echo's so good about taking care of things that they know is a problem. I'm sure Steel is too. I just don't know because
Sure.
I'm not a Steel dealer. So, the greasy shop rag just said had to run out to the garage and check to come see Carb Tools 670377.
There you
Also,
go.
if you haven't checked out the lawnmower lady, she did a video on her Tecumseh tool too. So let's see, what is getting there, Pat? What is a common problem with the PTO on older John Deere 345? Worked 2 years ago when parked. Now it doesn't engage. Is that a cable design on those?
The PTO, you talking about electric clutch? Does the 345 have electric clutch on it? And I don't know. I can't remember.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Problem with the PTO on older John Deere 345 worked 2 years ago and parked. Now it doesn't. If it's just been sitting, those electric clutches will get rusty, and you have to get up under there and pry it apart with a screwdriver. And sometimes they'll go to working, and sometimes they won't.
Yeah, my husband just chimed in. He said they are the electric.
Yeah.
So
Let him chime in again and see what would happen. What does he say about an electric clutch that sits and won't engage?
yeah, if you want to write up in there, because sitting is the worst thing on everything.
Yeah, everything is bad when it sits.
Yeah, 345 has electric clutch. Everybody's saying it is. Yes. Check the switch also.
Yeah.
He says. So, yeah, because this, that will corrode on you. All right. So, we're up to 244. You want to keep going or are you tired yet?
We go for a little while longer.
Okay. So bang it. That's what Matt Mutt says. Just bang on it. No, we don't. You don't want to bang on it, especially since they're like 200 and something bucks. So,
Yeah.
oh, so if anybody has any questions, also if you've just chimed in recently, you're going to have to be a subscriber for 5 minutes before you can comment, that just in case, we don't want to get any spammers in here. So we're doing that. If you I'm sure you haven't, if you've seen my channel, you have seen the Mower Medic. But if you haven't, go over and check out his, become a subscriber. He has videos on everything. So make sure to check that out. Anybody got any more questions, or did I miss some? I know I've missed stuff. I'm just bouncing around here. I have no idea. Okay, so Pat the Sound Guy says, check out page 48 of the new Stins catalog. See if you can guess who that guy in the picture is. I got my Stins book about work. You're going to have to let us in on a little bit more. Is it you, Pat? Are you the guy in the Stins book? All right. Working on anything special this week, Jeremy?
No, I'm going to work on anything special that I know of.
Yeah.
Now, I call it my test mule. The 42-inch Murray Rider that I've been using for the last 6 years in all my videos. I actually have a couple of broken off bolts in the sump, so I need to pull that engine off and try to get those bolts out of the sump. And
Yeah.
I'm gonna use my tried and true method by welding me a washer and then welding a nut to it, and then ease those bolts out using my welding method. But I thought about doing a video on replacing that sump with the sump that has the oil pump in it. That way, and show everybody how to swap that over from a non-oil pump engine to an oil pump engine, and you'll have to replace the camshaft because the new camshaft will have that little cutout in it for the oil pump.
Okay. So are you slowed down now, or are you still just trucking along? Is the weather still good down there?
Oh, it's we hadn't really gotten any rain, so the grass isn't really like exploding right now.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said earlier, it's chainsaw season right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what we're working on mostly.
See, when I think of Texas, I don't know why, I just think of, like, open, flat plains of because this one time when I drove to Lubbock, it's like
Yep.
the most
Once you get past East Texas and once you get past Dallas,
Uh-huh.
it's just flat. But
Yeah.
everything east of Dallas looks just like from my house to your place would be, just deep woods
Yeah.
and just pretty and
It
hilly.
is. It's so beautiful in this area that we live in, for sure. Have you ever been to Arkansas?
Yeah, I've been to Hot Springs a lot.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's just awesome here. I mean, the lakes and the trees and the rolling hills and yeah, it's nice. So, I got lots of I mean, we're slowed down now. We still got a few riders in. I'm busting out, whatever 2 cycles are coming in at least a day or 2 days at the most, but now is the time when I'm looking at fixing stuff. I have, like, probably 5 or 6 Poulan chainsaws, which I don't care what people say. There's many times that people just need a saw for a job.
yeah,
And if you're gonna go rent like a chainsaw from a rental store, I know it's $100 to $125 just to rent a steel chainsaw for the day, and
yeah,
that's like a 180. That's not
yeah.
even a big chainsaw. So I repair Poulans all people there's multiple times throughout the year that people are like, "No, they've it's brand new. It's a brand new saw that they let sit a couple years or 3 years and everything inside of it's rotten, fuel lines, fuel
Yep.
filter, it needs a carburetor kit, it needs everything." So with all the parts plus my 37.50 labor, it's going to be $80 to fix it, and they don't
Sure.
want to do that because they can buy another saw. They think well, I'll just go ahead and buy another one for $129 or whatever like that. But I can fix it and sell them all day long for 80 bucks.
Yep.
And so that's what I do this time of year also, is to start doing that. So, and then also I got some Manus tillers I want to put together because that's like my favorite machine ever is a Manus tiller. It'll run forever. I
Yep.
mean, the ones that I have are probably 30 years old, but
Yeah, they got echo engines in them, so they do run forever.
yes, they do. All right. Matt Mutz, do you have a hard time finding qualified help? How many guys work with you? Or are you by yourself?
Oh man, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We got 6 small engine guys.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah,
Okay. So there's 4 of us at the shop that work on stuff right now. So, yeah.
I'm actually the reason I've been doing so many 2 cycle videos lately is because I'm actually covering for a guy at work. He's out with rotator cuff surgery, so I got kind of moved into his position in the weed eater shop.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm over there. So
Well, I don't know about where you're at, but it's really hard to find anybody here to because and you're slammed from March until maybe September, and then you really don't need that extra person all winter long. So
yeah,
it's sort of hard. It's like, do you want to hire somebody? And yeah, it's going to make you that extra money to where you could hold them over the winter, but then why not just do it yourself? And so yeah, at the same time though, we don't ever really find anybody that's qualified to do it around here. It's the most of the people that come in that work on stuff that buys parts off of it us I know some of the shady stuff that they do. It's like I don't think I want them working on customer stuff.
yeah, you
Yeah.
gotta be real picky.
Yeah. Yeah. So, okay, do it right, small engine repair. Do y'all ever rebuild engines?
On the daily.
Oh, we don't. I
I
mean,
Yeah,
we
I'll
don't
do
like
a lot.
rebore them and stuff.
Oh
No.
no, no, and we don't. I don't do that. But we'll do
Okay.
short blocks.
Yeah, yeah. But when it comes to, yeah, if it's totally gone, we don't like rebore them. or to,
No,
fix
not
it.
unless it's a personal project or something.
Yeah, no.
Now Terrell fixes all. He'll ring one in a minute.
Yeah. Now, a lot of them FS85s, we did put a lot of rings in those because the cylinders were still good. I swear, the metal that they made that era of equipment with was so much better than any kind of metal they put out on anything today, for sure.
Yeah, it's kind
Okay.
of like you said, those FS85s. You could have a piston completely melted and pull it out, and the cylinder looks perfect. The
Mhm.
Nicosil coating that they used was just hard as a diamond, and
Yeah.
it just didn't mess up.
John Richard on a lawnmower blade. What is the thinnest that it should go before replacing? You shouldn't have to ask that question before you
Yeah,
replace it. There
a
is no
llama blade shouldn't never thin out.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, no. We see them with the tips that are like wafer thin where they start to break off, and
yeah,
we won't we
yeah.
won't
The
let
wings will
those go
fall
out.
off. Yeah.
Yeah. Or thin, or if you're talking about width wise, what do you think? Like halfway through or a third way through?
If that wing has any wear at all, I just and a lot of people don't. They'll wait too long to sharpen it, and then the corner of the blade is rounded off, and
Mhm.
then you gotta spend so much time to reprofile the blade, and then you gotta take so much material off. Then it'll cut, but
Yeah.
crap, then you have hardly any blade left.
Oh, I see some people that come in who obviously sharpen their blade themselves all the time. They must have good grasp because it hasn't affected the wings, but
Mhm.
they've sharpened it back to it's nothing, like width
Yep.
wise. So yeah, no, just go ahead and get some new blades.
Yeah.
All right. What brand and model in an older used riding mower do you recommend? You want to go first?
Oh lordy, I'm partial to Murray. I mean, they're cheap, they're easy to work on. You can get parts for them today. Even my Murray rider's 20 plus years old, and I can get any part for it I want.
Okay, but here's the disclaimer you need to tell everybody that the Murrays that have been coming out for the last how long aren't Murrays
No,
anymore.
they're not. They're MT junk, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. So he's talking about the way you can tell that it's an actual Murray is look at the deck, and if you see a spindle that is a cylinder shaped, you know, on the mounted to the deck, that is an actual Murray. Now the new ones, they're made by MTD. They've got pronged legs and
Yeah,
stuff like that. The old Murrays, they'd last for a really long time.
yeah,
Now, you might have to put a camshaft in the engine.
yeah.
But,
Especially on that single cylinder for sure.
yeah, but no, in fact, I think I got one outside that I'm fixing to do a Nikki kit on. But oh, and what do you do with the Nikki kits? Do you keep it in parts, or do you have a kit that you've been using?
On those Nicky carburetors, they're man. I tell you what, if you they like to leak after you put a kit in them, and
Hmm.
so you have to replace that emulsion tube assembly
Hmm.
because it's part of the seat of the needle in the seat, and that emulsion tube assembly I've had to replace that.
Really?
Yeah, that plastic piece that
Uh
has
huh.
that. Yeah, and a
Yeah.
lot of yeah. I mean, it's yeah. I mean,
Yeah. So we have always kept all the Briggs the kit for that, or I don't even know. We keep it in pieces. We keep that spaghetti gasket looking
yeah,
thing, uh, but and we keep the needle or we keep the needle, and we keep the jets. No matter,
yeah,
because for some reason, even though they all look exactly the same, they make like 12 different jets. And I don't
yeah,
understand that because I've stuck things through different part number jets and I swear it's the same size.
yeah.
But I mean, sometimes it's weird. It does make a difference. I'll
Mhm.
have the wrong one in it and think, "Oh, we'll just go ahead and try this other jet," and it not work, and I have to put the right one in. So I keep all those jets in. But what I did find is Kohler's Nike carburetor kit is cheap. So I was selling, and all those pieces for the bull gasket, the needle, and the jet was $45 in brick, for the kit, just those 3 pieces. But Kohler has a Nike carburetor now, and the I don't remember what dealer cost is. I think we sell it for like $20 for the whole Nike. And what it has, it's got the O-ring for the jet.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that little bitty
that little
O-ring.
tiny O-ring, yeah, that makes all the difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was just crazy that I couldn't get it in Briggs, but I could get it in Kohler, which is
Weird,
crazy. But so that's a little trick of the trade. If you're needing a Nike carburetor kit, look at the Kohler Nike, and you can get a much cheaper kit on that one. So, oop, we just popped on me. What do you think of aftermarket cylinder and pistons, Meteor and Highway for chainsaws? I've put lots of aftermarket.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
Pistons and cylinders.
I got a Highway on my MS260 right now. Been on there for nearly a decade.
Yeah, I think I don't know which brand it is, but I mean, I think my 044 might have one.
Yeah.
My husband will tell me if it is.
Yeah.
I know if it's not this, it's the 046 that we sold, but one of them did.
Yeah, my MS260, I got parts from HL Supply.
Yeah. Yeah, HL. I think that's the one that we get it from. So let's see. Any more questions here? What is it? Why does the Troy-Bilt leaf blower have such a hard time starting? It is a 4-cycle engine. I think they're junk. But
it's just like we said before, you gotta choke them right, and
yeah,
once they sputter, you take it off choke and crank them. I mean, that's.
But the problem is they have 0 adjustments on most of those newer Troy-Bilt. So, and the Craftsmans that are actually Troy-Bilts, they don't have any adjustments on the carburetor either. So that's another thing. Like a lot of the people that have those Murray Hyper Toughs and stuff like that, I don't work on them anymore because you can buy another one for $69 and I'm just not going to do it. But what I will try when a customer brings one in, if they still prime, they have fresh fuel in it, I will try to adjust it for them. And first I prime the stink out of it. If it won't, it still won't start, I will try to adjust it because a lot of times you can get another year out of just a little bit more gas. Sure. And so I do that, and I charge $5, and I will, give it to me. Let me see if I could get it going, for 5 minutes, and that's $5, and go on your way. But let's see. Thanks, William, for being moderator. He's also putting links up to Mower Medic's page. If you have not subscribed yet, you want to do that because you will be in the know for everything that is small engine related, for sure.
Yeah, I went live just a little bit ago to kind of try to get some of my followers over here tonight, and I hope that it helps you out a little bit.
Thank you. Yes, Troy-Bilt is for sure been MTD for a very, very long time.
Oh yeah, they've been in Troy-Bilt and MTD's been together for a long, long time.
I mean, it's a price point thing. If you only have $69 to spend on a trimmer, go buy one. You're just going to have to keep it running, and you're not going to have to let it sit that's the worst thing. And every single one is just bad from it sitting for a long period of time. But that's going to be with any piece of equipment, just less with other things. So same way with the riders. I mean, it's a price point thing. 0 turns, especially, unless you're going to drop a dime, they're all the same. So if you replace a piston cylinder, do you change the oil ratio for the first couple tankfuls? I don't. I do extra oil it actually as I do it. I put a bunch of oil down in it and it smokes like a freight train for the first few seconds that I run it, but I just want to make sure that it's all, nice
Yeah,
and lubricated. So, but no, I don't actually change it to run the first few tanks of gas through. So, all right. We still got 248 on here, Jeremy.
that's good.
That is good. Thank you all so much for hanging out with us. This has been so much fun. So, do you got any questions for me?
Well, how long have you been a small engine mechanic?
Well, I took 2 years when I was in school at the local college, and I was shop foreman. So the teacher was awesome, and whenever I got out of high school, I went to work. The first place that I went to was right down the street. It was a lawnmower repair shop, and started working there. And I worked there for a couple of years on the counter. And the good thing about being on the counter is that's where you get all the questions.
Yeah,
So, and as you know, everything's repetitive. The more questions you get asked, the more same questions you get asked. So eventually that's how you learn is, okay, that's
sure.
what's wrong. I've asked a mechanic, he said this, and it would get to a point to where I would answer a question and I'm just this little 18, 19-year-old girl. And they're like, well, can I speak with your mechanic? And he was the most awesome guy ever. And so I knew it was going to make him very mad because he'd have to stop what he's doing. And so I'd stick my head in the back of the shop and I'd say, hey, this guy wants to know what's wrong with his mower. And he'd come down and stick his head out and he'd say, what'd she say? And the guy at the counter, he'd say, repeat back what I said. And he's like, well, she's right. And he'd just run to the back. So that was really good experience there. After that, I did a number of things. And in 2010 or 11, we decided that shop that I had worked at had unfortunately closed down in 2009 after the economy went to boot because it was booming. And so it had a ton, of employees there, and it just, everything went dead. I mean, I had a cafe at the time and we went from being nonstop, tons of customers, to after Bush got on and said the economy was going to boot, to nobody showing up to eat lunch the next day. So, I mean, the 2008 crash was really bad in this area. And so, it closed down. And in 2011, we decided to open it back up, my husband and I, and we've been trucking along ever since. What was crazy though, it was funny. We had a cafe at the same time for a few years. We sold it in 2015, but we opened our cafe in April of 2008. And 6 months later, the economy crashed. And so we had to build out of that ditch and work our butts off. So in 2011, we decided we're going to open up this lawnmower shop. And we had the worst drought we've had in 80 years. Everybody's lawns burned up by May. We had no customers. And so it was like, anytime we decide to invest money and start a business, stay away from whatever we're doing, because something economically bad will happen. And then, anytime we try to spend money. So then we put a pool in our, in 2019. What is this? 2021, 2020. So in the beginning of 2020, we decided to put a pool in our backyard. They're not cheap. Well,
No.
And so I got to get rid of this comment. I forgot that it's sitting up here. And so we, after we get the pool in, our house gets struck by lightning. So it's just like, or right before we put the pool in, we, put the money down to get the pool, and our house gets struck by lightning and catches on fire. So I'm done spending money. So yeah, I know. That's what how I got into it. And then we just been trucking along. And like I said, we, there was 4 of us. Now my son's helping out. He's 19. So there's 5 of us now, and he's learning, and we're just, it's really good. We sort of got the niche on this side of town because the other 4 shops are all on the same street and like 2 miles apart from each other on the other side of town. And then there's us way over here. So it's pretty good.
Yeah.
So Daryl Orr, heck, I've been running an Amstel Sabre Professional this season, 100 to 1 mix, no issues. I hear that a lot. Do you have that? Do you hear that?
Yeah, and if Steve Small Engine watches this, and he'll agree with you,
Uh-huh.
Don't just, it doesn't matter what kind of oil you run it for what the manufacturer recommends. 50 to
Yeah.
1.
Yeah.
I can attest to this that I used to work at a Johnson and Evinrude dealer, which was an outboard motor repair. And in the early 80s, the late 80s, early 90s, they were toying around with running their engines on 100 to 1. And
Mm-hmm.
they kept burning up power heads. So they said, okay, no more of that, 50 to 1. But
Yeah.
just run what the manufacturer recommends. Don't run 100 to 1.
Yeah.
Period. The end. I mean, you're not going to change my mind on that.
Yeah. So John Conaway asks, a steel 029 Super or a MS290, which one would you keep? What is the difference?
They're the same saw.
Yeah, I think they're exact. Yeah, I mean, I know the parts all interchange. I was wondering,
Yeah.
is there something that is actually different between the two of them?
No, just like my MS260. It's an 026 all day long.
Yeah. Yep. Oh, okay. Did you ever try to remove ethanol from fuel using water? Did you try
Haven't
that?
I've not done it, but I've seen it done on YouTube, and it I guess it works. I mean, you're
I've never
basically,
tried it.
I hadn't either.
No. Okay. Yeah, so Big South Outdoors says my backup machine is a Craftsman Z6400 zero turn. It's made by MTD. That's the truth.
Yeah.
And it's was sort of weird because I don't know what it was 5-6 years ago, and it takes a while before we start seeing it, but at the shops. But when people first started coming in with these 6-sided blade or 6-star blades, and they're like, it's for my Craftsman, or they need a Craftsman blade, and I hand them a 5-star, and that was shocking to me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's been so easy for so long to give people the right spindle and the right
Yep.
blade, and now it's totally screwed up.
Yep.
It's
Now you need model
so
and serial number
much.
again.
Yeah, you've got to have it. If you have a Craftsman, it could be made by MTD or by AYP. So we
Yep.
really have no idea. So you have to have your numbers from underneath your seat. So because that's just the way they decided to do it. And you know what? I was looking at my Sears store, which is non-existent now, but this was years ago, and they had snapper rear engine riders that were painted black with Craftsman logos on them.
Yep.
And they were snappers. I mean, every bit about them was a snapper, which was really odd to me. I thought, they would sell the snapper name like they are doing with the MTD stuff now. Speaking of, that's another one. If you buy some of the snappers these days, they're made by MTD, which
Yep.
sucks.
The little snapper, they call it a yard bug or something like that.
Yeah.
MTD, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, what type fuel lines hose that can handle the ethanol blends that will not break down?
Stins, the blue
I'll have to
fuel
try
line
that.
for Stins. Or you can use the regular yellow Tygon, works great.
I put tag on in everything.
Yeah.
But if it sits, it's going to go bad.
Yeah.
Everything is. Doesn't matter. I mean, even that black line that comes like on the Echoes, it's really good, but it's funny because like the grommet will blow out before the fuel line will. So let's see. I think, is it true Stanley bought out Hustler?
I don't know.
Well, Black & Decker bought out Craftsman and MTD. And Hustler, isn't it no, that's not Hustler. Hustler's still Hustler, isn't it?
I don't know. I'd have to dig on that, see if I can find out.
Who's AYP now? That was weird though. Is it not Aaron's? Is it Aaron? I don't remember. All right. William asks, Mower Medic, will you be on Mixed Mowers Christmas special this year?
Yes, sir. I'm on that. I'm on the panel.
I'll be there. Me and my man, we're going to be on one. So, let's see. Oh, everything just hopped on me. Sorry. So now I'm lost again. Some of the Craftsman's new mowers show the engine manufacturer's Craftsman as opposed to their old other Briggs or Honda or Kohler that makes Craftsman label engines. Speaking of this, now we know what's going on. Craftsmans that are made by MTD are putting MTD engines on them. Is that what we're talking about here?
Yeah, that Power More engine.
Yeah.
That's ugh,
They're bad.
They're pretty bad, and the parts are extremely expensive.
Yeah.
And just like the new Toros that you're buying at Tractor Supply, those Toro zero turns have a Toro engine that's I guess they're okay. I mean, I haven't heard any bad things about the Toro engine.
We've seen a couple, but yeah, definitely the MTDs and they're putting it on the push mowers too. MTDs got their own engines and they're just full of issues. Good night, Mark. Thanks for hanging out with us. Power no more, Iron Duke says. Yeah. Power more, you mean powerless. Oh, we can go on punning all night. Yep. Hustler mowers are made in Heston, Kansas. Did not know that, Donnie.
A lot of manufacturers of lawnmowers are made in Kansas. Dixon and a couple more there. I can't remember the names, but I know Dixon's made in Coffeyville, Kansas, or used to be.
So let's see. Chickanic. Do you have and Mower Medic have a wish list? Mower Medic, you got a wish list? You also have a tool list too.
I got a store with that's chock full, but I don't have a personal wish list. And I need to figure out how to make that visible. I guess I need to figure out how to, how when you upload a video, you can have it uploads to every video. You don't have to keep putting it in. I guess a default. I can wrench on lawnmowers all day.
Yeah,
but when it comes to computers, I'm illiterate. I can't.
Me too. Yeah, I got you on that one. No, I know what you're saying. I have no idea. Speaking of, I completely forgot. We still got 228 on here. I started a website. I can't believe I finally got it done. I've been sitting on chickanic.com for months. And finally, I just sat down and I was like, I'm going to do it. And it was actually not hard because they give you a template and you can just fill stuff in. And I still got a lot to work on it and the store to build but I really don't even know what to sell yet because I don't have nothing. But yeah, so
and you can put on. I used to have a website, but I don't know what even happened to it. So it's out there somewhere. I don't know. I don't even know how to get on my own website that I made 10 years ago.
Yeah, but so I do have a wish list, and I think I put it in the description box below. So I did figure out how to do that. But what's funny though is I don't know if it's because I wasn't doing it right, but a lot of people have been buying stuff off my wish list, but they're getting it themselves because you got to like specially go down a little bit and say send it to Chickanic, and if you don't, then it sends it back. It sends it to you like you're ordering something off Amazon. So
yeah,
didn't know that. Yeah, Jimmy Dmort. Everything I worked on before the 90s lasted forever. Ain't that the truth?
I was going to say, whenever the guy said something about the older riding mowers, anything from about 98, 97 and prior was decent stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. So Hey, also, if you have like questions, put them in caps because that's the easiest to let us see your questions. Seconds. All right. Well, we've been on here 2 hours.
It feels like 10 minutes.
I know, right? We'll have to definitely do this again. So I think we're
yeah.
going to head out. Thank you so much for hanging out with me.
Hey, it was nice to see you face to face finally.
For sure. Yeah. Well, eventually this is going to be like face to face. We're going to have to do something for sure. That would make one heck of a video. But yeah, everybody, thank you all so much for having all these questions. If you haven't checked out Mower Medic's page yet, go over there and subscribe. I think congratulations. That's like another, what'd you get? 10,000 subscribers in the last like month or something. you're
crazy.
Like, it is.
Yeah, but it's just like the seasons. When the mower season slows down, the repair season, so does my channel. It takes a dive.
Yeah.
And then come spring, my channel will go.
I was wondering about that because since I've only been in it since the beginning of June into May, I have no idea yet. I know that one video that made me actually start doing the YouTube again, that it took off in the middle of May, and so I had don't know what the ups and downs are, but yeah, this was fun, and I think we're good on all the questions. Everybody's saying good night. Thank you all so much for hanging out with us. Stay tuned. Jeremy's on the Mower Medic. He's going to be putting out videos probably every day, multiple times to keep you entertained. And I got a video coming out tomorrow where I'm actually sawing some wood. So everybody always wants to see me work. I'm like, I fix them every day. I'm not a landscaper, but I actually had a tree to cut down here at the house. So if y'all want to see that, check that out. Coming out tomorrow, maybe tomorrow or Tuesday. We'll see what happens. But thank you all so much for hanging out with us. Y'all have a good night.
Thank y'all very much for coming. See y'all later.